Good afternoon to you. Mark Sott with HurricaneTrack.com here. It is Saturday, the 28th of May, 2022, and it's time for the hurricane outlook and discussion. The big story, of course, will be Agatha over the next few days. Tropical storm Agatha in the southeastern Pacific going to impact Mexico as a hurricane and maybe even a pretty formidable hurricane for this early in the year. We're going to take a look at that. And two, it has potential to survive some of its energy, the trek across Mexico and get into the Gulf of Mexico itself or the Bay of Campeche or all of the above. We will look at that and much more real quick here on today's update. National Hurricane Center indicating that a broad area of low pressure is expected to form in the Bay of Campeche down here. They don't say that it's directly associated with the remnants of Agatha, but we know, we're watching it, that could be part of the overall mix. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. There's Agatha as of 1 p.m. Central Time or 2 p.m. Eastern. 45 knots or 50 miles per hour, strengthening to the south of Mexico over very warm water. The environment is favorable, and it's going to become a hurricane and maybe even a pretty intense hurricane as it eventually tracks towards Mexico. I've been talking about our interactive map. We finally get to show it off here. I really love this thing. It was produced by one of our crowdfunding supporters through Patreon, a gentleman named Will Woodgate over in the UK. And I love it. It's just awesome. We can change the background state. Just want to show you real quick. There's the National Geographic theme. It could be a street map if you want to. You can just make it sort of a dark color where it's just kind of plain looking. I like the Nat Geo background myself. You get the relief in there, the terrain, geographic features. It looks like one of those big National Geographic maps, but it's digital right here at our fingertips, and we can pinch zoom if it's on a tablet or an iPhone or an Android, or you can just use your mouse on the PC. And this is available through our HurricaneTrack Insider site to anybody on our $10 level Patreon and up, just so you know. So this is where it's headed. Why is the track, why is it like this? Well, it's jumped from where it was supposed to be. It's a little bit more north and east. So as everything catches up later, the 2 p.m. position, it's east of where it was forecast to be. Put it that way. It was supposed to be like over here, and it's not. It's a little bit more north and east from the 2 p.m. advisory. The 5 p.m. advisory, Eastern time, it'll catch up and it'll all make sense. Nevertheless, it's headed for Mexico here in the Oaxaca region. What is that, the state? That's what they call it down there. Kind of a low population area overall, but that's not no population. I've been to Mexico last year for Pamela, near Mazatlan. It's not the same region, of course. And I noticed as we flew over, I'm just giving an example here. You fly over this area, and you look at all this terrain. It's very rugged, but there are villages. A few dozen to a few hundred people. If you zoom in further, you can see more and more detail. And yes, it is going to come into quite the mountain range down here. That's going to wring out a lot of moisture, rip the guts out of the bottom of this system, the 5,000-foot area, what we call the 850 vorticity. That'll get ripped up. And then the leftovers, the mid and upper levels, the bottom part will kind of get torn up here, but the remainder could make it over into the Bay of Campeche here and try to combine with this favorable cyclonic gyre that we have, the Central American gyre that's sitting over in the region. I mean, it's just overall favorable for something to try to get going here in the Southwest Gulf or the Bay of Campeche next week after landfall in Mexico. So down in Mexico, you guys be ready for this. If you know people down there, please share this video with them and let them know what's coming. All right, here it is on infrared satellite animation. Kind of a small system. That little white dot there looks like a cotton ball. That is the central dense overcast. Fancy way of saying deep thunderstorms, really high in the atmosphere. This is what it looks like on the visible satellite animation, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. Got that really nice band coming into the system, CDO developing that central dense overcast. You can also see in the animation how the upper level clouds are fanning out in a clockwise fashion. That is the upper level anticyclone that allows the wind to, it's very light, so the storms can just go vertical, and then all that air just gets whisked away evenly and not getting torn apart, where it's two different wind flows in two different directions. That's what shear is, the change of wind direction with height. There's very little shear down here, so it's able to grow vertically and start to really strengthen over those warm waters to the south of Mexico. And you can see that on the vorticity signature here, looking better and better. And this, folks, will be the key. We can track this as it comes inland across Mexico and then into the Bay of Campeche, Southwest Gulf region. What will that look like? And it is a trackable feature. We'll be able to see it on this product here from the University of Wisconsin. I'll be sure to show you that in the coming days, even though I'm going to be traveling. I'll talk about that in a minute too. But we will be able to watch this, and that's the key. Does this make it across? If so, how intact is it, and what happens after Mexico? This is what different people are saying about it on Twitter. While it may not be in rapid intensification yet, as I was pointing out to you, the widespread banding, the curling convection near the center, that's that shrimp look it has to it, and all the outflow that I showed you shows that this is a healthy tropical storm, and it should really start to ramp up here. It's not moving very fast. We go on to see here that the ASCAT, which is a scatterometer, it's not very high resolution. How do you say that name? DLAN, possibly? At least I pointed it out. High schooler, and this person knows a lot. They finally put their name in. I think they're getting ready to go to college, and they put their real name in there. I just used to know them as WXTCA. But anyway, credit where credit is due. People know what to look for. I try to find them and follow them on Twitter. And so here you go. The ASCAT, while the resolution isn't terrific, we do get to see that there are some 40-knot wind barbs in there. It's getting there. The bottom line is the structure. As people are talking about on Twitter, the structure of this thing, especially that curved banding you can see even in the scatterometer data, Agatha is well on its way to trying to intensify, and this will be a pretty serious hurricane. Luckily, it's small in size, but it will have some impacts there in Mexico, of course. All right, dual of the models here. This is the GFS operational for today, the 12Z run anyway. This is what it's showing. That's what we're looking for right there. That's the suspect, if you will. That's Agatha. There it is. That's what it looks like in the model at around initialization this morning. And here's what it looks like out in time. Put this into motion. It really ramps up, makes landfall in southern Mexico, and then runs into those mountains. The bottom part of it, like I said, the low level, the bones, the meat, the heart, whatever, gets kind of torn out. But the rest of it comes across. And then some of it, by 96 to 120 hours, boy, this just starts getting nutty. A little bit of energy here, or a lot, really. More trying to come together east of there, just this giant circulation area. I've drawn some kind of a strange-looking emoji creature by accident. Look at all that energy down there. What's going to focus, if anything? No guarantee that anything will focus. All these different vorticity centers, that the model is trying to say, I think this one's going to go. No, I think that one's going to go. We don't know yet. This is 5 days out, and, it just gets crazier from there if we move this out into time. You see what I mean? Lots of energy tries to pinch off and do various things. And then even a system here north of the Bahamas tries to get going. We might see the Hurricane Center talk about that in the next couple of days, and that tries to head towards Bermuda. So anybody on a cruise ship out there, I know somebody going to Bermuda, you'll be watching that closely, I'm sure. He knows who he is. Meanwhile, the ECMWF operational, same thing, 12Z today. Still complicated. The first couple of days, not so much. Pretty strong hurricane for Mexico. Then, that's the question. Then, we don't know. Look at, again, this huge area, just the overall cyclonic turning of these wind barbs in here. Who knows? Place your bets now. I mean, this is one of those times where I'm going to tell you, I don't know what's going to happen. And anybody that says that they do, well, they either have the Biff Tannen, I say this often, it's a dad joke, from Back to the Future Part 2. Remember the Biff Tannen sports, 50 years of sports history? Same Biff Tannen went and got 50 years or 100 years of hurricane history, and that's the only way anybody knows what's going to happen over the next week or so. A very complex situation. Even a little bit of energy over here in the Southwest Atlantic that the Euro is trying to pick up on. That's day 5. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's complicated. The next week to 10 days after Mexico there, Mexico is going to take the brunt of this to start, and then it gets really complicated from there. And it's also showing up, Philippe Papin, a forecaster down at the National Hurricane Center. He does these tremendous graphics, explaining the Central American gyre and how strong it is and what it's doing, its status, etc. And here it is, centered, just a tremendous graphic indicating a lot of energy down here. And the point of his tweet is the remnant vorticity plus the larger scale pattern favors this large CAG, Central American gyre, over the Yucatan and vicinity that typically results in widespread heavy rain over Central America. So there's more to this than just, ooh, will there be a hurricane coming? You gotta not focus on the H word all the time. You gotta look at this as a big weather pattern that could affect you, even if it's just a big sloppy storm system with no name, all right? You know, yes, the hurricanes are what get the views, the visitors, the ratings, the headlines, the front page, whatever, you understand. But these other systems are much bigger than us by default. We have to pay attention to what else could be coming, even if it doesn't become a named storm in the Atlantic, all right? All right, speaking of other weather systems, severe weather. Today in the yellow areas, slight risks. Luckily, the tornado threat, hey, small enough that I can say it's almost zero. It's less than 2%. The wind threat, though, is still significant enough in the areas highlighted, as well as hail being the highest up in the, basically the high plains. For tomorrow, things start to get quite a bit more interesting here. Enhanced area in the upper Midwest, so pay attention there. The tornado threat, 5%. The wind threat, much higher. The hail threat, some of that hail ridiculous in size, as indicated. Then, on Monday, also an enhanced risk, dipping down into Kansas, all the way up through Minnesota and North Dakota. We'll get the breakdown of the various hazards once we get to tomorrow. And then days 4 through 8, things really stay active out there as this trough moves through. And I am going. And I'm going to jump on a plane in the morning, meet my colleague Matt in Denver, and then our other colleague. All of these folks are patrons, by the way. They are part of our crowdfunding team. And I keep mentioning that because that's what this is. It's a community. It's a team. Everybody's investing in it with their money, their resources, their ideas, and we get it done. That's how we do it. Just telling you, all right? I keep trying to pitch it, and there's a reason, and that is the reason, because we're all working together. So Marcel's going to come up. He's from Brazil. He's going to join me, and he's living in the U.S. now studying hurricanes and other weather phenomenon. So he's going to come out and help me out, and we're going to do some amazing things. We're going to set up a network of cameras and some of these kestrels right here for some pressure data, testing a few things, a few ideas, continuing to refine how can we use what we do in hurricanes and severe weather situations, and it helps get us ready for hurricane season, which may become very busy very quickly. We'll see. So starting Monday, we will have the public YouTube feed going once we get rolling sometime mid-morning or whatever, and we'll be out there covering the events of Monday and Tuesday in the Great Plains. I will also do updates. I'm not going to just disappear. I still got to talk about Agatha, so I'll get up early. And no update tomorrow, I will say that. So I got to travel, and I can't be sitting in the airport like trying to do an update. It just won't work. But we'll be back Monday, and we'll be talking about what's going on with Agatha and everything else, and then the severe weather potential. We'll know a lot more about that on Monday as well. All right, so nothing from me tomorrow because I do have to travel. So I'll see you again Monday. Thanks for watching, as always, and have a great rest of your weekend, too. It's Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there. I appreciate you tuning in. It's great to have you, but I need you back, so please be safe. I'm Mark Sudduth, Hurricane Track. I'll talk to you again on Monday from out in the Great Plains.